Yes.
Are we doing a report on there as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Jay Michael told me to do that.
Okay.
Right, this is the State of New Mexico versus Frank Lucero. This is Naisha S., an Assistant District Attorney.
This is Frank Lucero, pro se defendant. For everybody, let's state the name for the records.
Edward Kafka, audio recorder for the defendant.
Matt Montoya, DA's office.
And EJ Forret.
Okay, this is a lower court appeal from the contempt court case, magistrate court case SR 2017-13, and this is now district court case LR 1835, and you're magistrate court judge, correct?
Yes.
For Division 2, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now this case rolls out of the lower court case, 867 case, correct? The magistrate court case.
I don't know what the number was.
What did the contempt court arise of?
Out of a suspended driver's license case that you had where I had ordered you not to drive in the state of New Mexico until such time as the case was finished.
Okay. And that was an order issued by yourself, correct?
Yes.
On the date of?
This is your interview, Mr. Lucero?
Yeah, on the date of what you issued the order.
I can look. December 2nd, 2016.
Okay.
And it was case M7MR 2016-00867.
Okay. And I was being held in the Chavez County Detention Center, correct?
Are you making a statement or are you asking?
I'm asking.
Okay, because when you say correct, that's a statement. So yes, you were. I arraigned you by video arraignment.
Okay. What were the charges in that case?
Driving with a suspended driver's license, no proof of insurance, and vehicle subject to registration.
Okay. All under
And
the...
you had failed to sign the traffic citations issued by the Roswell Police Department officer, and I believe that's why you were taken into custody.
Okay. And those are all statutes under the motor vehicle code, correct? I mean, right?
Yes.
Okay. Is any of those statutes allow for a custodial arrest?
Oh, and you were also charged with improper equipment.
Okay.
Also, there was 4 charges.
Are any of those statutes custodial arrestable offenses?
Yes.
Can you list them, please?
The driving while license is suspended.
Okay.
And under the statutes, the no proof of insurance is also subject to 90 days, $300 fine, but we have a local rule where we don't put people in custody, in jail for that.
Local rule number 1?
I don't know which local rule it is. I don't have a copy of those with me.
How long has that rule been in effect?
Since it was signed by the head of the administrative office of the courts, I don't have that date either because I don't have the form.
And who is the head of the administration of the court?
Artie Pepin.
Excuse me?
Artie Pepin.
Okay. And if I'm understanding that rule correctly, it eliminates the incarceration for those penalties that carry it?
For no insurance. We do fines only.
And that's on a plea of guilty or no contest?
Yes.
What if we're not guilty?
Then there's no fines.
There's no imprisonment as well still?
Not if you're not guilty.
If you plead not guilty?
If you plead not guilty, you get set up for a trial.
And you get found convicted?
And then if you're convicted, it's a fine.
Okay. Is this the Chavez County Magistrate Court, the only magistrate court with that rule? Or is it
I don't know.
statewide?
I don't have any idea.
So, this case was taken to jury trial, correct? Or, I mean, it was,
I don't know where it's at now.
when it was in the lower court.
It was set for a jury trial, yes.
Did a jury trial occur?
On which case are we talking
The
about?
867 case?
No.
So the conditions of release were for the defendant, me and myself, not to drive a motor vehicle in the state of New Mexico, okay, for the duration of the case, or otherwise ordered by the court.
This matter having come before the court on Friday, December 2nd, 2016, for additional conditions of release. Upon posting bond in the amount of $1,350, the defendant shall abide by all standard conditions of release stated on the release order, and in addition, shall not drive a motor vehicle in the state of New Mexico for the duration of this case or otherwise by order of this court.
Okay.
It is therefore ordered that the defendant follow additional conditions of release upon release.
So, January 11, 2017, my conditions of release were revoked and I was remanded to the custody of the Chavez County Detention Center. Is that true?
I don't have that paperwork, I don't know.
Would you like to see the paperwork?
But sure.
So for the record, this is order violating conditions of release filed January 11, 2017 in the Magistrate Court.
Okay.
So my conditions of release were revoked at that time, correct?
Your condition to be out was revoked at that time, yes.
For what?
And a new bond reinstated because you left the state of New Mexico and you did not provide a current address.
Okay.
Is what that order says.
Was there a hearing on that violation of conditions of release in the lower court?
I'd have to look at the file.
Was the bond terminated or exonerated, I guess?
The first bond was, yes.
Okay. Did I fail to appear at any time in this
I'd
867 case?
have to look at the file.
Do you want to look at it, or?
No, this is your interview,
Yeah.
Mr. Lucero. You're the one supposed to be prepared for your questions.
Do you have a copy of the file? No. Yeah.
And I know you have copies of that file.
Oh, I
I'm
do.
not bringing the court
Yeah, I
file
do,
out
but
of court.
I don't have it on me. So. And you said there was a order modifying the bond, correct?
That order did.
You mean the January 18th order filed in the lower court?
That exonerated the $1,350 one,
Uh-huh.
and then the other one, the other paper you showed me. And then it instated a $5,000 cash only bond.
Okay. And this one that was issued January 18th in the Magistrate Court, what is this one?
The bond was changed from cash only to cash or surety.
Uh-huh. And an amount of 5,000?
Yes.
Okay. So were any conditions of release imposed on this date?
The standard conditions of release still apply, as well as the additional condition of release.
Mhm.
Those didn't get changed. It was just your bonds that got changed.
Was that brought to my attention that day of the hearing? That it was stay the same?
Mr. Lucero, you've had so many hearings, I don't know. I would think so.
But you didn't incorporate it into the order, correct?
I would have to look at the file.
Well, the order
It's right, it says right there.
it says what?
Defendant may post a cash or surety bond in the amount of $5,000.
Okay. But nowhere in the order says that the additional conditions of release carried over. Right?
Not in that order, it does not.
Okay.
This addressed your bond.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you. So, and at that time, the conditions released were still in the jurisdiction of the magistrate court, correct?
Yes.
Because competency was not raised yet?
Well, even once competency was raised, those conditions stay in effect
Okay.
because it's still a magistrate court case.
Okay. So, and you are under the information and belief that I violated the conditions of release order due to me violating it?
I would have to look at the file.
So that's what I'm being charged for in this case, correct? For violating a lawful order?
The contempt of court, yes.
For driving a motor vehicle in the state of Mexico? Okay.
Multiple times.
Okay. On what days were those times that I violated?
On the dates that were on the complaint. You don't have a copy of the complaint? Thursday, May 25th, 2017 at 9:13. Saturday, July the 8th, 2017 at 8:18. And then again, Saturday, July the 8th at 9:08. And Thursday, July 17th, 2017 at 5:09 p.m.
So that is a total of 4 different occasions, correct? Okay. What information do you have that will make you think it was 4 rather than 3?
Thursday, May 25th, 2017 at 9:13. Saturday, July the 8th, 2017 at 8:18 a.m. Saturday, July the 8th, 2017 at 9:08, that's 3. Thursday, July 17th, 2017 at 5:09 p.m., that's 4.
So you're saying the 2 instances of July 8th those were 2 instances rather than just 1?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what information do you have that would make you think that other than, I mean, it's the same date and time, the same officer?
Because it was citations, different times, different locations.
What was the time difference in those 2 dates? I mean, those dates?
Mr. Lucero, this is your interview.
Yeah.
Are you not prepared at all for this?
Is there a
This
time
is your interview. And you're not prepared. We're having to use all of my stuff.
Are those your questions right there?
Oh.
Oh.
Why?
Okay, July the 8th, 2017, at 8:18, East College and North Garden. Same date at 9:08 at 1000 North Garden. 2 different locations, 2 different times.
Is there 2 different cases for those 2 stops?
I would assume. These were filed in the municipal court.
So how did you learn about those incidents?
Because I called over there
To
to the municipal court.
On what date?
I don't know.
Uh-huh.
Prior to filing the criminal complaint,
And who did you speak to there in the municipal court?
one of the clerks.
And for what purpose did you call a municipal court?
Because I had seen that you had picked up these others, so I thought it would be reasonable that you probably got caught driving by the Roswell Police Department in violation of my court order.
that something normal you do, is call other,
In all
courts?
honesty, Mr. Lucero, I haven't had this trouble with anyone but you.
What do you
When
mean?
I give this order not to drive in the state of New Mexico, because I do that very often on suspended driver's licenses, they don't show back up in front of me like you do.
How often do you do that?
A lot.
And it's to your information belief that my license is suspended.
One of the reasons I do it is to try to help people that to get their driver's license back. Because if they continue to keep getting these citations, as in your case, each time you get found guilty, it adds another year to the suspension of your license. And it becomes a never-ending cycle of people not being able to get their driver's license. So by giving this order, help these people get their driver's license back if they will follow the order.
In what way does it help them get it back?
Because they're not driving and picking up new violations.
So do you normally pick up the phone and call other courts and ask about the defendants?
No, this is the only time I've had to do it, Mr. Lucero, because of the history that you were showing, that you have developed,
And what history is that?
that you will just continue to drive and not follow the rules.
So at these, each instances, you weren't there at the stop, correct?
No, I was not. Had nothing to do with the stops,
How did you learn about the stops?
because they were filed in court.
And
The two state police cases were filed in magistrate court. Judge Rogers arraigned you on one of them, I arraigned you on the other one.
Okay. And whenever you first found out, like an arraignment, did you take any action?
Wait, what?
When you first found out the at arraignment on these cases, did you take any action?
When I arraigned you
Mm-hmm.
on these cases?
Mm-hmm.
No, I took no action because you were under competency.
So when the order was remanded, when finding me competent, remanded, and it was filed in the magistrate court, that's when you took action, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And which form of action did you take?
I filed an indirect criminal complaint, criminal contempt complaint.
Was there warrants, bench warrants issued prior to those that complaint?
I don't think so. In which case?
That 867 case?
I'd have to look at the file, but I don't think so.
Are you familiar with the standard procedure for violation of conditions of release?
Mm-hmm.
What is that procedure?
Pertaining to what?
For violating a condition of release? When a defender violates one condition?
It depends on what the situation is.
There's different protocols or rules or for different situations? So when a defendant violates the conditions of release, there are additional conditions of release. They'll say, what's the procedure?
It depends on what the situation is,
Okay,
on what the additional condition of release is.
in my case, what was the procedure?
In your case, I filed a complaint for indirect contempt of court.
And why did you choose indirect contempt of court rather than violating conditions of release?
Because you violated a specific order, and that's the reason I chose to go that route.
Okay.
Rather than violate you again, put you back in jail, I chose to do it this way. Mr. Lucero, I have given you every benefit that I could possibly give you,
Benefit.
and you know that as well. I don't believe in keeping people tied up in jail for a suspended driver's license. What the issue is you just continued to do it.
And it's to your information and belief that my license is suspended. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. On, where did you receive that information?
Based on these citations.
Mm-hmm. So when a defendant's issued a citation for suspended license, they're automatically presumed to be suspended?
No. That's why you have trials.
Uh-huh.
We're here because you violated the specific order of not driving in the state of New Mexico. And you did.
Mhm.
That's what this case is about.
Mhm.
It's not about, is your license suspended? It's about, you were not supposed to drive.
So, when I was writing on this case, I mean, the lower court case, the SR 2017-13 case for the indirect criminal contempt, you were the presiding judge on it, correct?
On what?
On the SR 2017-13 case?
I did not preside over that case.
So you were you assigned to it at first, the case?
They are assigned because I was the one that filed it.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And you recused off the case, correct? And then
I'd have to look at the file.
And then
I know that Judge Hall handled the case. I don't know if I recused or if you excused me. I don't remember which way that went.
So when I was arraigned in front of you or Judge Rogers?
On this case?
In the lower court case. I want to.
Which lower court case?
2017-13 SR.
I don't have that arraignment paperwork. I'd have to look.
I
don't remember. No, I don't have that arraignment paperwork.
This one.
No, this is all, no, I don't have that arraignment paperwork. This is all having to do with just the case. I didn't bring any of that file paperwork. I don't have it.
So at arraignment, I was remanded in custody, and there was an order filed by yourself, Judge Forat, and that's for the record, it's the order denying provisional verified motion for pretrial non-monetary release on reconnaissance and an order on remand. Can you tell me why you filed this order or issued that order? You want to see this document?
Well, this would have had to have been in response to something that you wrote.
Mm-hmm. So according to that order, I was remanded.
Where's your motion?
My motion's in the file.
Okay, but you don't have a copy of your motion with you?
No, I do not.
Okay. Well, that's in response to your motion, so I would have to see what your motion was.
Mhm. So according to this order, I was remanded in custody, correct?
Mhm.
Okay. And I was given a $5,000 cash only bond.
Mhm.
Okay. So are you familiar with the Mexico Constitution, Article 2, Section 13?
Do you have a copy of it there?
Well, I don't have a copy of it, but
Okay.
are you familiar with that?
No, you can provide a copy to me. I'll be happy to review it.
Are you familiar with the Mexico Constitution?
I am.
Okay. Why was my bond issued at $5,000 cash only?
Because that was the decision that I made at the time, because you just continued to violate your conditions.
Was there any evidence presented that I might be a flight risk or failure to appear or any danger to the community?
You're a public safety risk because you continue to drive with a suspended driver's license and no insurance.
Mhm.
So in the event you cause a wreck, people would be seriously harmed possibly hurt and financially harmed, because you have no resources to back that up. So I do consider it a public safety risk.
When you say resources, what do you mean by resources?
By resources,
Like, for example, you can explain.
just what I said, you don't pay insurance.
And you know that, how?
Because you don't have insurance.
And
You've never provided an insurance card.
Mhm.
In all of your multiple cases that you've had, you have never provided a valid insurance card.
Mhm.
That would be an indication to a reasonable person that you don't have insurance.
Now, by having a defendant show proof of their insurance, isn't that not burden shifting?
Isn't that what?
Burden shifting?
Burden shifting?
Yeah. The state does have a burden to show proof beyond a reasonable doubt.
Oh, sure,
Mhm.
sure.
So,
But most people just show up to the court, provide their valid proof of insurance, and the case gets dismissed. That's what the law says to do.
Mhm. And what law is that you're referring to?
To the no insurance law.
Uh-huh. To Mexico statutes for,
Provide insurance that was valid at the time of the stop, and the citation gets dismissed.
Now, is that a mandatory law? To have insurance?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Is there any exceptions to that law?
I believe there's exceptions for federally registered. I'd have to research it again, but I think federally registered vehicles are exempt from that law.
There's about 3 minutes left. Do you have any questions related to your case?
Yes, I do. So, on January 5th, there was a bond hearing held in the lower court in the SR 2017-13 case, where you yourself was the presiding judge in that hearing. And there was a bond given in this case for $100 or $100 cash security. Was there any conditions of release imposed on that case? Additional
On the
conditions?
indirect contempt of court?
Yes. Any conditions?
I don't know, I'd have to look at the file.
Uh-huh. So, during the hearing in the lower court, I filed a notice to the court, a notice of ruling to the court, where this issue was before Judge Hudson, on Judge Hudson's own motion. And at that time, my conditions of release were not violated, correct? Am I?
At which time, I don't understand your question.
At a pretrial hearing, I believe it was November 29th, 2017, you had indicated there was that bench warrant for my arrest, and I had gave you notice of ruling in paper from Judge Hudson that the issue was before him of driving a motor vehicle in the state of Mexico. And at that time, my conditions were not revoked, or were they? Or yourself?
I don't follow what you're asking, Mr. Lucero. I'm sorry. I have no idea what happened in your district court stuff.
Well, that's why I filed that notice of ruling, Judge Hudson's ruling, And at that time, I guess the bench warrant was quashed. So, and I was just wondering if any conditions or release were imposed at that time.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No.
I will note that it is 2 o'clock.
It would have been most helpful today had you brought your file, so you could have shown these things.
Mhm. Well, so you don't have no recollection of those days?
Not specifically.
No.
No, I'd have to go look at my notes.
If you like, we have notes, you can look at them.
No, Mr. Lucero, I'm not gonna do that. I can't bring the court file out of the court.
So, no.
No, I'm not gonna
Not
do it
your
today,
pleasure,
no.
Okay.
Is it limited to half an hour or limited to 2 o'clock?
That's the time that we did give.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I don't get no time of when it'll be ending or anything. I actually filed a notice in the lower court, in the district court. It'll run until finished. So,
We're getting pretty close, it sounds like, Mr. Lucero, because you're running out of questions.
The questions all
I haven't even started my questions yet.
Well, then you better get busy,
I just been,
because I have work to go do.
The questions need to derive out of your charge.
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct. So, is there any other thing, anything else you would, you feel that I should know that you haven't stated today?
Not to my knowledge.
So, would you be willing to submit to a lie detector test to the truthfulness of your answers today?
You know as well as I do, the lie detector tests are not admissible in court, Mr. Lucero.
So that's a no.
I am not going to submit to a lie detector
No.
test.
Okay, fine. Well, I'll go ahead and wrap it up. That's it. Thank you.